About fifth-round pick in NFL draft history. Now, it's time to get to work. Sanders falling to the Cleveland Browns and joining a quarterback room with fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel, who was selected in the third round. Both rookies will have the opportunity to compete for the starting job alongside veteran Joe Flacco. When team drill started on Friday, it was Dillon Gabriel who took the first snaps, but head coach Kevin Stefanski downplayed it, saying the quarterback competition will be all-encompassing when they evaluate all of the quarterbacks ahead of week 1. And for more, welcome former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt. Both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel looked good in their first NFL practice. Emory, who do you think will separate himself in this crowded quarterback room in Cleveland?
It'll be Shedeur Sanders, and I've said this since Ben. When you think about who can thrive in chaotic situations, no one has been more prepared to do that than Shedeur Sanders. You go back to Jackson State the first year without Travis Hunter. Then you go to Colorado the first year when everyone just kind of laughed at Deion Sanders taking this power forward job. He's going to get creamed. And they go out there and he put up 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in the upset win over TCU. So no one is more prepared for this situation than a Shedeur Sanders. But what I like about this for both quarterbacks is the fact that this is a true open competition. So if you're Dillon Gabriel, you have experience more so than Shedeur because you played 6 years at 3 different big-time programs, and you put a lot of things on tape. And so now, because you're in a preseason situation, when you're 2 rookie quarterbacks, Joe Flacco is probably going to play a series, if that, and Kenny Pickett's probably going to play 2 series. So you 2 guys will get ample time to put together some great tape in the preseason, which not only bodes well for your chances to not only start, but also start somewhere else and drive up your value. So I love this for both guys, but if I had to pick one, it would be Shedeur Sanders because I had a higher grade on him, and I think his touch timing, anticipation, accuracy, situational football just grades out tremendously, and it shows itself up on film in any situation.
Whoever can deliver, that's all I care about as a Browns fan. Doesn't matter who it is. Shedeur Sanders, Colonel Sanders, Deion Sanders come to a game. He can throw the football if he wants to. Just figure it out and get some wins and put the Browns back on the map. Another quarterback looking to take charge at rookie minicamp, Jaxson Dart. The Giants traded back into the first round to take the Ole Miss quarterback. He was slinging it at camp on Friday, competing with 2 veterans, former Browns quarterback Jameis Winston and the Super Bowl winner Russell Wilson. When Dart visited the Giants before the draft, he put on a clinic. Take a look.
If I said gun, diesel right, 56, F my canner, who's running the shallow? The F. Who's running the curl? The X. Running the post? The Z. Who's running the middle? The Y. Good. All right. Let's play one more game. All right. Turn around. All right. Turn. Toss. If you would have pointed the other one out. Good. Thanks, buddy. Good work. You threw it out in there. Good job, mate. Thank you.
Love that stuff. That was impressive. Jaxson Dart, as the kids would say, was cooking there. Head coach Brian Dable, his staff loved it. Those videos are so cool because it takes you inside the draft room, what they're thinking, making the prospects think on their feet. I love seeing that stuff. Your reaction to just what he's able to do in that room to impress them, because I know you're out here on our big screen and you're breaking down plays. How difficult is that when you're in a room like that up against the NFL front office and you're talking to a head coach and you're trying to impress them?
Well, it's a job interview, and you kind of want to make sure these guys understand what they're getting, and you want to impress. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but as a starting quarterback at a Power 4 program, you're kind of used to the spotlight. You're kind of used to the situations being a little bit tense. So I'm not surprised that he went there and did that. Most quarterbacks can do that because you have to know everything as a quarterback. You got to know what everybody's responsibility is, so your recall is going to be tremendous. What worries me about Dart has nothing to do with what we just saw in the video, because all that stuff is unquestioned. It's about how he does in situational football when the game is on the line versus pressure of the moment, pressure of the situation. And that stuff we won't know until the actual live game starts. But I do like this for him because I pulled up my scouting report from Matt Corral and my scouting report this year from Jaxson Dart, and they're very similar. So in my eyes, if I zoom out a little bit, I'm like, okay, if I had the same grade and the same strengths and areas of improvement for both guys, then maybe it's the system that they're coming out of, because we're seeing Matt Corral struggle in the UFL trying to grasp what's going on in terms of things changing post-snap. Dart has the ability now to sit behind a Jameis Winston and a Russell Wilson, not be thrown into the fire. He's not competing for the starting job, so maybe he has a chance to break those tendencies coming out of that Ole Miss offense. So I like this situation for him. And I was at Giants rookie minicamp today. Obviously, our vantage point was a little bit skewed because they have us in the media standing off to the corner, and we're seeing things on the far side of the field, so we couldn't really see anything. I'll be back out there on Saturday, and we'll be outdoors, so I'll get a better gauge of what Dart can do and how he looks in 7-on-7, because that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, and how he delivers the football, the timing with the guys that he hadn't worked with. I love what he said in the press conference today. He said, man, before we got on the field today, yesterday on the bus ride to the hotel, he wanted to gather as many guys as he could to get guys going through the playbook and try to see if we can hit the ground running on the same page. So to me, that shows good leadership skills. That shows that he's taking the role seriously, and you like that from a young guy coming in.
If you were to predict what week does he become the starter for the Giants?
Week 1, 2026.
Okay.
Because he's not going to see the field this year. This Giants roster, to be honest, it looks pretty good on paper. Now, we'll see as the summer starts to transpire and how it looks when the live bullets are flying. But right now on paper, they're vastly improved. The quarterbacks they've added raises the floor. This team can win 8 or 9 games based off this roster today in May alone with those quarterbacks. So it's an ideal situation for a rookie QB to where you don't have to force him out there. You can win games while developing a guy behind the scenes, which is ideally what coaches want.
All right, so you're going to let him sit. I don't know if they're going to have that opportunity. I feel like they're going to have to run him out there.
Well, listen, we've seen Russell Wilson is still a young veteran that can keep this team afloat, and Jameis Winston can be whichever week we saw him last year. Yeah. Right. And so the thing is, you don't have to rush a guy who struggles with pressure and struggles in the moment. And we saw that against Florida. We saw that against LSU. We saw that in virtually every big game Ole Miss had to play. So he's not ready yet, and I think that's what doomed Matt Corral, and he hadn't been able to recover from it. But Dart has that chance to really break those tendencies and get further away from Lane Kiffin's system as possible.
Jaxson Dart wearing number 6. There was plenty of talk about what number Abdul Carter would wear. Not LT's number 56, nor Phil Simms' number 11. Instead, Carter took a digit from each and settled on number 51. Now that that's settled, Emery, what are your initial impressions of Carter at rookie minicamp, having seen him on Friday?
Yeah, he is someone that looks the part physically. And I will say what I loved about what Jaxson Dart said in the press conference after practice. They asked him about his number 6. He was like, obviously, I was just given this number, but I mean, I got to see how it looks in pictures before I decide if I want to keep it. That's an honest answer. You know what I'm saying? And so they asked Abdul Carter about his number, and you can still kind of see he was given the corporate line of, well, I'll work with this number. I'm just here to play football. You can still see a little bit of saltiness about that. But in terms of how he looks physically, he looks ready to go. He said he's 248 pounds. He can play all positions because he was getting cross-trained like that at Penn State. And when you think about this defense now moving forward, okay, you can get, Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau